You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities. At participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
Doom!
Word of the day. Are we going to make it through this? I don't know. I know one thing. Not going to be watching the Super Bowl. I'm not protesting the Super Bowl, okay? I was really kind of hoping the Lions would be in it this year. They didn't make it. They got close. They had a good season. It would be the only reason I would really watch the Super Bowl. Seriously. I have no interest in the Chiefs, the Swifts. I have no interest in the 49ers. I have no interest in the halftime show. I have no interest in the woke, whatever, commercials. So I figured, you know what? Let's just do the show. And you should have been in the chat room already. If you are not, you should. What are you doing? Why are you watching the Super Bowl? You need to be at klrnradio.com. You just heard the Lost Wanderer. You just heard Jeff. Had a heck of a show. He's been a little under the weather. Doesn't show. And he's right. He's right. For some reason, he and I are tapped into the same channel of the Matrix quite a bit. it's almost scary. It's almost scary because just out of the blue, I tweeted something about Wow Bagger, the infinitely prolonged, and he messaged me and go, dude. Same brain. Oh my gosh, it's the Matrix. We're probably in pods next to each other in some, I don't know. I think most KLRN has like a block of pods. You know, just that's how we ended up meeting, you know, through the ethos. We're like in a big circle in a bunch of pods in the Matrix. That's how it goes. Welcome to the show. It's Sunday Night with Alan Ray. I am your humble host, Alan Ray, not watching the Super Bowl. No interest in the Super Bowl. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy year already. Just a terrible. We've lost some very great people. We lost Toby Keith. More importantly, we lost Mojo Nixon. My God, what are we doing? Don't tell me 2024 is going to be that kind of year. I refuse to accept that. 2023, a lot of people had a rough 2023. I had a great 2023. I loved it. I'm planning on having a great 2024 in spite of everything that's going on. Guys, thank you for hanging out in the chat. Jeff, who you just heard, he's in the chat. Orty's in the chat. Crow's in the chat. Thanks, guys, for kicking in. I know that the Taylor Swift Bowl is on. I respect that, but, man, I appreciate the heck out of you, coming in, hanging out with me. We're going to talk a lot of things. I'm going to try to not talk a lot about politics tonight because, guys, really, honestly, I'm getting burned out on politics. 2024 is going to be a long year. Election years are just killing me. So let's talk about other things. We'll get the politics out of the way real quick, but we're going to talk about other things, other important things, more importanter than who's not running the country or acting like they're running the country. So don't go anywhere. Let's rock this out, man. Let's do it. Let's get the record company going. My new obsession. Yeah. Up off the ground. Darn straight, baby. The record company. It's the record. Already, it's the record company. I think the track of this song is Off the Ground. Hit them up on Spotify, man, and just let it play. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I just was showing somebody who this was. A friend of mine at work who's into the same kind of independent music as I am. I say, hey, dude, you got to check these out. And I just played this song, and then I just let Spotify go. And Spotify's AI, this is how AI should be used. We're going to talk about AI a little bit in the show. This is how artificial intelligence should be used. It, sucked into this playlist of bands I'd never heard of before. And it was some of the coolest, funkiest, bluesiest, greasiest music. And I just let it play for 3 straight hours. And people kept walking in my office and go, what are you listening to? I was like, whatever Spotify's AI thinks that is similar to the record company. And let me tell you what, so far it's been flat out perfect. It was great. I was like, oh my God. So I just let it play. And then I saved, it was somebody's list, I guess. And yeah, exactly. Already, that's exactly the dark bluegrass. That's exactly it. That's another, but this genre is almost like a blues. I don't even know how to describe it. Almost like a funky blues type stuff. And there's quite a few bands out there that participate. I could totally play this crap. If you threw me in a band with these guys, I'd totally go on tour with them. I'd never come back. I'd just be gone all the time because it's some funky stuff. I'm loving it. That's it, Crow. And Crow, welcome back to chat. You know, we're going to have a father-son talk here, sir. Just because you got a girl doesn't mean you can forsake the dudes in the chat. Folk Americana, yeah, that's kind of, I think it's more blues Americana. I think folk blues Americana is going to be more of a thing with the record company. But anyways, yeah, and they rock. They rock. Not even apologizing about that music. In fact, I'll probably just go ahead and make it my bumper music for intro and outro because it's just so cool. So here's what's going on, guys. Yesterday, of course, I did another Parks on the Air activation. If you don't know me, if you don't know who I am, if you've stumbled across the Crow, I'm just messing with you, man. I know you're a little bit older, but I've got to mess with you about the women folk. Oh, look, I'm offending people right off the bat. Anyways, I did a Parks on the Air activation. I'm a ham radio operator. If you haven't ever listened to my show before, the guys in the chat probably roll their eyes and go, yes, you are. We know. Did another Parks on the Air activation. This one was Hayes State Park in the Irish Hills area. 20 watts with my little Zygo G90. Had a shark stick antenna, basically magnet mounted to the top of my truck, using my truck as counterpoise. And I made 33 contacts in an hour, and I hit contacts everywhere from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana to be exact, to Maine. I forget which city in Maine it was, and a lot of Virginia, a lot of Tennessee, a lot of Kentucky, which I can never get Kentucky and Virginia from my house. It's like a dead spot. Iowa, a lot of places just kind of out there a little ways. It was a good day, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, everything just went blank. Well, it turns out we're getting hit by yet another solar storm. The sun has been throwing quite the tantrum for the past 48 to 72 hours. And last night, and those of you that follow me on Twitter know that once in a while I put solar weather, the video for solar weather, throw it up there on my Twitter feed because Sort, whatever her name is. Anyways, she's kind of cool. She's rocking. She was actually up all night revising the video that she usually puts out on Saturday afternoons, basically. And everything kept changing. Everything kept changing. It was absolutely crazy. Dr. Tamitha Skov, that's her name. Dr. Tamitha Skov. Find her as the Space Weather Woman. And you'd be amazed at what the sun does while we're sitting down here on this feeble blue ball, wandering around, wondering what the heck we're doing. The sun is like going nuts. And we actually had an X-class solar flare. Now, it's not going to hit Earth. It's not going to knock out all communications, but we've had a lot of M-class solar flares, and some of them are going to hit. And there's a lot of things that are really going on right now that may lead to a very, very heavy solar storm, and we're talking knocking out communications. I was really hoping it would hit tonight. I was really hoping it'd hit like right up front of the Super Bowl and just knock everything out for like 3 or 4 hours. But is it a Carrington? Wow. Well, muted myself. Got a little coffee there. Is it a Carrington type event? No. But it is the type of event that will actually black out communication, possibly for several hours. And we still might experience that. According to spaceweather.com, and this was their release February 11th at 21:55 UTC, which subtract 5 hours for Central Standard Time. This was just a little bit ago. It says, hello again, folks. Solar activity since the M9 solar flare yesterday evening has been a little quieter, with only C flares detected so far today. Much of this activity was centered around both the AR 3576 and 3583. The main flare threat the past few days is showing some signs of weakening, but should remain a threat for at least a moderate M flares in the short term. So they've downgraded the storm. Last night they were saying, oh baby, this one's going to be a big one. Yeah, I got a hairball. Exactly, Jeff. I've been like this all day. So yeah, the problem is a coronal mass ejection was detected passing the Discover spacecraft around a 123 UTC, which is really, really early in the morning. And the passage past Earth was just picked up by magnometers, so it's already kind of skimmed the Earth. It didn't do a whole lot to us. But just be advised that right now the sun is going nuts. We could conceivably have another Carrington event type CME, coronal mass ejection. Now, what would that mean? Well, in the 1800s, it meant that anything that was attached to Morse code lines, to any kind of communication lines, a lot of it caught on fire. A lot of it, they had some shacks burn. They had, there was very few lines set up. And a lot of it caught on fire. Some of it, they were able to send messages without even having any energy, any electricity hooked up to the shacks, because it was all being powered by the coronal mass ejection. Now, what this would mean in 2024, we have a lot of very frail electronics. We have a lot of things that are hooked to the electric grid that are made in China, made in Taiwan, and they work really good, and they're really cool to have, but they're also very, very frail. They're not like 1800s where the only technology they had was to build things that were pretty much bomb-proof. So if we were to have another Carrington event, and it's not an if it's going to happen again, it's a when it's going to happen again. We eventually will have one. And this is a concern. This is something that I don't know if the government's smart enough to look into, but scientists are smart enough to look into. And anything hooked to a long wire, that long wire is going to act like an antenna that's going to guide that energy straight into your electronics. Over to my left here, this little Yaesu FT710 that's hooked to a 132-foot long wire. It's also hooked to a power source that's hooked to my electric. It's hooked to an electric grid. Doesn't stand a chance. If a Carrington event hit, this thing is going to fry, along with my dual band underneath it. Now, fortunately, I have backups and backups for my backups, and some of my backups are already in Faraday bags, which means they're protected from something like an EMP or a coronal mass ejection. The difference between a coronal mass ejection and an EMP is going to ruin a lot of electronics no matter what. If they're plugged in, if they're just sitting there, you're going to have problems. A coronal mass ejection, anything that's hooked up to a long wire, to an electric grid, to whatever, there's a good chance they're going to get blown out. Anything that's not, there's a good chance it's going to survive. So if you do have something like I have my little G90 that's sitting off to my right in a case with a battery in the case with it, I'll still be able to pull that out. I'll still be able to grab a solar panel out, and I'll still be able to charge that battery, string a wire up after the CME is over, and make communications. Your cell phone, maybe, but your cell phone towers and everything like that might be down. This is one of the reasons I got into ham radio, is because cell phones are kind of fallible. They work great. They work wonderfully, but they are kind of fallible if things go wrong. So there's like your weather report. The sun's going nuts. We are going to, we're right now we're at a solar maximum, and we're playing dodgeball with the sun. We really, really are. The sun's absolutely going crazy. Now, when these solar flares die down and there's just a bunch of sunspots on the sun, propagation's off the map. You can go, if you've got your technician license in ham radio, you can go on 10 meters and you can talk to people all over Europe, all over South America. I've even heard that some people are hitting Japan really, really early in the morning. I'm not up for that because I sleep in. Maybe one of these days I will wake up and do that. So there you go. That's your propagation report. What else we got going on here? Oh, and I didn't get to this last week. I was kind of bummed. I got talking. Things ran long. That's okay. I've kind of been studying artificial intelligence. In fact, I've been working with artificial intelligence quite a bit. You'd be proud of me. My job has its own AI, so I use it. And I've been messing around with it, figuring out what it's all about. And just like any other tool on the planet, artificial intelligence has a lot of cool uses. Artificial intelligence will glean a lot of what we know, glean a lot of things that we have learned over the centuries as mankind, and can actually come up with some pretty cool solutions. So let's get into a couple of things going on with AI. Number one, and I had no idea, didn't really think about this, and this applies to Jeff, who you just heard, the Lost Wanderer. He does a lot of work he's an artist. He's basically an artist. And he posts his stuff on Twitter, on Facebook. I see him post stuff all the time. And it's great. It's wonderful. It's all very medieval looking, and it's just cool as crap. I just love it. But one of the things that we have a problem with AI, one of the issues we have with artificial intelligence, is when you ask it to make some kind of an artwork, it scours the interwebs, scours all the art forms in the internet that, pictures of ancient paintings, pictures of modern people, and any kind of artwork that's online, and uses the collective knowledge of the interwebs to give you a picture. Now, that seems cool up front. But the problem is, just like if you ask it to write you a song or play music, it has no issue whatsoever, has no limits whatsoever to go in and basically glean somebody else's work and makes it its own. So this is from MIT Technologies, Melissa, and I can't even say her last name. There is what they call a data poisoning tool, and it lets artists fight back against generative artificial intelligence. I had no idea this existed, and I never even thought about this, but this is going to be an issue. This is going to be something that they're going to have to address with artificial intelligence. It says a new tool lets artists add invisible changes to the pixels in their art before they upload it online, so that if it's scraped into an artificial intelligence training set, it can cause the resulting model to break in chaotic and unpredictable ways. The tool, called Nightshade, is intended as a way to fight back against AI companies that use artist work to train their models without the creator's permission. That's copyright infringement, flat out, and it's illegal, and it's wrong, ethically wrong. Using it to poison this training data could damage future iterations of image generating, oh my goodness, AI models, such as DALL-E, Mid-Journey, and Stable Diffusion, by rendering some of their outputs useless. Dogs can become cats, cars can become cows, and so forth. MIT Technology Review got an exclusive preview of the research, which has been submitted for peer review at Computer Security Conference at USNIX. We got Northern Biker in chat. Hey, what's going on? AI companies such as OpenAI, Meta, Google, and Stability AI are facing a slew of lawsuits from artists who claim that their copyrighted material and personal information was scraped without consent or compensation. Now, this is big. As a musician, I find this to be huge. Ben Zhao, a professor at University of Chicago who led the team that created Nightshade, says the hope is that it will help tip the power balance back from AI companies toward artists by creating a powerful deterrent against disrespecting artist copyright and intellectual property. Meta, Google, Stability AI, and OpenAI did not respond to MIT Technology's review's request for comment on how they might respond. Now, Zhao's team also developed Glaze, a tool that allows artists to mask their own personal style to prevent it from being scraped by AI companies. It works in a similar way to Nightshade by changing the pixels of an image in subtle ways that are invisible to the human eye, but manipulate machine learning models to interpret the image as something different from what it actually shows. Now, there's some people who have problems with this, as Nightshade exploits a security vulnerability in generative AI models, one arising from the fact that they are trained on vast amounts of data. In this case, images that have been hoovered from the internet. Nightshade messes with those images. Artists who want to upload their work online but don't want their images to be scraped by AI companies can upload them to Glaze and choose to mask it with an art style different from theirs. They can then also opt to use Nightshade. Once AI developers scrape the internet to get more data to tweak an existing AI model or build a new one, these poison samples make their way into the model's data set and cause it to malfunction. Now, I'm going to leave from the article right there. This is something that AI companies are going to have to deal with. I understand. I understand exactly what the people who have spent their time writing, spent their time drawing online, spent their time writing music. It's big to them to know that artificial intelligence is out there just taking your work and setting it into the mix and using it to help some corporate entity or something like that poop out a product that has your work in it. It's been influenced by your hard work, the sweat of your brow, and you're not getting a dime for it. All right. Now, on the other side of that, Nightshade and any of the softwares like Nightshade could end up making AI useless technology. Unreliable and useless technology. Now, what will happen, I assume, in the future is that your Google and your multi-billion-dollar entities will figure out a way to, bypass Nightshade, get around it. And it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war that it's going to end up with a lot of lawsuits, and it may render artificial intelligence. I could see it rendering artificial intelligence almost completely worthless right up front, unless artificial intelligence is reduced to, if you have an AI program, you must get, like ASCAP. You must subscribe to a group of people who have put their time, work, and effort in, and when you make $10 billion, these people get a little kickback on it because it is their work. I have no problem with that. But it's going to make the future of AI kind of interesting. Intellectual property is a real thing. And I'm sure all of these Google and Meta and all these places want you to respect their intellectual property. Well, the opposite's true too. And just because you're Mark Zuckerdweeb doesn't mean that you can get away with it. We have reached the bottom of the hour. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got all kinds of stuff. Funny things, weird things, dangerous things, prepper things, all the good things. It's Sunday Night with Alan Ray. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
At the tender age of 3, I was hooked to a machine just to keep my mouth from spouting junk. They must have took me for a fool, cause they chucked me out of school, cause the teacher knew I had the fun. Nothing
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Oh, yeah. Little Thomas Dolby welcoming us back to Sunday Night with Alan Ray. Hey, thank you for hanging out with me. I know you could have watched the Super Bowl. You could have done a lot of other things, but hey, you're hanging out with me and all the nerds, and we're talking AI. Speaking about it, on the subject of AI, 3 students won $700,000 for using AI to translate 2 texts from a previously unreadable ancient scroll. Where's this from? Business Insider. And that's Insider, I-N-S-I-D-E-R, not inside her. There's a difference. Earlier this week, 3 students took home a $700,000 prize for winning the Vesuvius Challenge, a competition that aims to decode the Herculaneum Papyri, a collection of papyrus scrolls that have been unreadable for centuries. The students, and I'm not going to try to pronounce their name because I can't, had never met in person but were the first team to uncover at least 4 legible passages in the scrolls. Get this, of 140 characters each, the length of 2 tweets. The scrolls were buried in the 1st century during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, an Italian countryside estate that historians have linked to Julius Caesar's father-in-law. About 800 scrolls have been evacuated from the site to date. Some of the texts could completely rewrite the history of key periods of the ancient world. Robert Fowler, the chair of the Herculaneum Society, which raises awareness of the scrolls, told Bloomberg. This is the society from which the modern Western world is descended. And if the uncovering them could mark a pivotal point in human history, then their burial was a blessing in disguise, unlike virtually every ancient text that decays once exposed to air. These writings have been carbonized by the heat of the volcanic debris, and therefore preserved, according to the Vesuvius Challenge's website. Now, 3 tech industry veterans launched the competition in March of 2023, backed by a bevy of entrepreneurs, investors, and key figures in tech industry. The passages the winning team uncracked were likely written by the Epicurean philosopher Philodemus and touch on music, food, and how to enjoy life's pleasures, according to a post by Friedman on X. In the closing section, he throws shade at unnamed ideological adversaries, perhaps the Stoics, who have nothing to say about pleasure, either in general or in particular, Friedman explained. Now, the competition's big winners helped uncover about 5% of one scroll, but the competition doled out more than 50 prizes last year, totaling more than $1 million to teams who helped find the first letters in the scrolls, assisted with the ink detection, and developed open-source tools. This year, the bar is even higher, though the payout is lower. The Vesuvius Challenge hopes entrants will help uncover about 90% of the first 4 scrolls. The winning team will receive about $100,000. Now, that's the way to use AI, folks. That's kind of cool. Ancient text. Idea. It's above my pay grade to even figure out exactly how they did this, but it's neat. It really is. All right, we kind of got to do this. We kind of have to. We got to touch on politics just a little bit. It's been about a year since the Norfolk Southern disaster in East Palestine. And if you remember right, our wonderful commander-in-chief never went down there, never even made an attempt to go down there to see what's going on. Now, a lot of people take high offense to that. I have other views. If I was in a flat-out emergency, an emergency situation, in some kind of a societal meltdown, a panicked type catastrophe, the last thing in the world I would want is a politician nosing around my business. However, some people took offense to the fact that he never even acknowledged or bothered to go down there and see what's going on, see the disaster for himself. He's going now. And I found that odd. It's like, why would he all of a sudden do that after a year? After an entire year has gone by. And he's done everything except go down there. We've already figured out, and it's come out very clearly, that he has cognitive issues. It's now documented. It's now documented by his own Department of Justice. They're not going to charge him with the federal crimes that he has committed, because they said, well, what are we doing? Now, Northern Biker, vote buying sounds viable. But this is what I found. And this is going to be interesting. CNBC, Kenneth Squires, February 10th, 2024. Activist Ancora may turn to a reliable tactic to enhance value at Norfolk Southern. And this is the commentary. Ancora is primarily a family wealth investment advisory firm and fund manager with $9 billion in its assets under management, with an alternative asset management division that manages approximately $1.3 billion. It was founded in 2003 and hired James Chadwick in 2014 to pursue activist effort in niche areas like banks, thrifts, and closed-end funds. Ancora's website lists small-cap activists as part of its products and strategies, and its strategy has evolved in recent years. From 2010 to 2020, the majority of Ancora's activism was 13D filings on microcap companies. In the past few years, the firm has taken a great number of sub 5% stakes in larger companies. The alternative team has a track record of using private, when necessary public engagement with portfolio companies to catalyze corporate governance improvements and long-term value creation. Now, here's the deal. Norfolk Southern is a Class 1 railroad operating freight trains in the United States. You know that. When you hear a train go behind my house during this podcast, it is a Norfolk Southern. Just about every single time. Every once in a great while, you'll see Canadian Pacific, but 99% of the time, it's Norfolk Southern. Norfolk Southern has materially underperformed the markets and its peers over the past 1, 3, and 5 years. When you see that in a railroad company, there is one key metric to look at which drives railroad profitability and shareholder returns. It's operating ratio. The operating ratio is the company's operating expense as percentage of revenue. So basically, Norfolk Southern's got problems. Now, we know they have problems. They went through a little area there where, I don't know, where they came through a lot of issues, a lot of derailments. Now, what's happening is the Wall Street Journal reported on February 1st that an investor group led by Ancora has taken a position in Norfolk Southern and plans to run a proxy fight to replace the majority of the company's board and replace the CEO, Alan Shaw. Now, here's the deal. Ancora, activist company, they are pretty much tied to the World Economic Forum point of view. They are going to turn Norfolk Southern into a woke company. Now, it makes sense if you are the President of the United States. And I guarantee you, Ancora probably donates a butt ton of money to the Democrat Party. I guarantee you. So now, does it make a little bit more sense of why all of a sudden, with all of this happening with Norfolk Southern and with Ancora, who's an activist type company, that's a pretty way of saying it's one of the new WEF, ESG style companies, are going to try to leverage Norfolk Southern. Norfolk Southern has a bad reputation. Norfolk Southern is seen as the enemy in places like Palestine, Ohio. Now, if you tie everything together and you realize that Ancora probably donates straight up front or behind the scenes a lot of money to the Democrat Party. Now, does it make sense that after 1 year, our president is going to Palestine, Ohio to try to soothe things over, to try to see what they need, to try to clear the way? Interesting. That's all the politics I have. It really is. I really don't want to talk much more about it. Stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out for that. That's another one of those companies that subscribe to the ESG standards, the WEF standards, that bow down and worship to the World Economic Forum idols. Just makes me wonder. Let's talk about self-driving vehicles. Let's talk about self-driving vehicles in San Francisco, California. Which, by the way, the Niners, I guess, last I heard, weren't doing too well in the Super Bowl. Looks like they might be losing. Let's check out them again just for kicks, because this might be important. This might be important tonight, what I'm about to say. Oh, nope, they're back up again. So if they win, this might become very important. A weird occurrence happened in San Francisco this week. There was a bit of a disruptance, a bit of a melee. And a crowd vandalized and set fire to a Waymo self-driving car using a firework in San Francisco on Saturday. The Alphabet-owned company said authorities said marketing the latest public attack on such vehicles in the U.S. Now, this is coming from, hard to find this in America journalism. Because, American journalism, they're all about propaganda, not a whole lot about about truth. They want you to believe that EVs and self-driving vehicles and all of the things that they promote are going swimmingly, are going great. They're not. Folks, they're not. Anyways, the incident began around 9 p.m. local time on Saturday. This is California, whatever time they're on. Already, what time's California? That's like, I don't know, Western time. It's not real. Anyways, it began around 9 p.m. local time on Saturday in the city's Chinatown district when a crowd surrounded a white sport utility vehicle that was moving along the street, a company spokesperson said. Video footage posted on social media showed one person drawing graffiti on the SUV and another using a skateboard to smash one of the windows, prompting cheers from the crowd. Footage showed the vehicle on fire with a huge plume of black smoke in the air. The fire department posted pictures on social media of the charred remains of the car and said fireworks started the blaze. The vehicle was not transporting any riders and no injuries have been reported. We're working closely with the local safety officials to respond to the situation, the company said. It did not say what caused the attack. Now, the San Francisco Police Department said it was investigating the cause of the fire. This incident was not the first time people have attacked self-driving cars, but its severity may illustrate a growing public hostility following a pedestrian dragging incident last year involving a vehicle operated by General Motors' Cruise unit. On previous occasions in San Francisco and Phoenix, Arizona, groups have disrupted the operation of self-driving vehicles, blocking their paths, trying to enter the vehicles and jumping on their hoods. Videos that went viral showed people putting orange traffic cones on top of the vehicle to obstruct their sensors and force them to stop abruptly. Last week, a driver of Waymo car collided with a cyclist in San Francisco, causing minor injuries. The incident is being reviewed by the state's auto regulators. Now, I work in Ann Arbor, Michigan. There are tons of these self-driving vehicles around. Now, nobody was hurt. Nobody was, I don't know. So far, nobody's been arrested for this. I find it hysterical. Are we seeing the beginnings of man's rise against machine? Are we seeing the protest of machines taking over our lives? It's kind of interesting. I think it's darn interesting. Something else to watch. And that's what I do on this show. I try to pick your brain. I try to get you to wake up to some of the things that are going on around you. And everyone says it's so easy to get dragged into doing nothing but politics. And after a while, you feel like a parrot. You really do. There's other things going on. You see little cracks in the societal structure like this. I guarantee you. Now, this is a prediction. If somehow Donald Trump regains the presidency in 2024, he's got a very big uphill battle with corporations and media and the current regime and everybody else fighting against him. It's a huge uphill battle. And these people will die on the hill of a demented old man who's currently in the White House. They'll die on that hill. Even though, and I've said this back in the days when I was doing Hardcore Patriot, I said this, that Joe Biden represents everything the left claims to loathe. He's a sexist, a racist, establishment hack. He's a capitalist. Yeah, he's a capitalist because he's dug in deep with crime families. He makes all kinds of money on capitalism. Everything the left says they hate, he represents. But yet they are going to go to their graves defending him. But if somehow Donald Trump wins in 2024 and the riots all start up again, which they will, they will, because they are being funded by the left, I get the feeling that these driverless cars are going to be easy targets for your Antifa, Black Lives Matter, whatever group they come out with this time, as I roll my eyes. I think these self-driving cars are going to be easy targets. Crow, I don't think the left hates hair sniffers like they should. They are a bunch of pedos. So anyways, let's leave it. And I know Jeff ran over a little bit. I'll run over just a little bit, but not much. Let's leave it on this. The Boston, Providence, the East Coast is bracing. After this beautiful week, oh my God, this week has been absolutely outstanding. It was 60 degrees Friday. Absolutely gorgeous. Been outside a lot this week, just soaking it up. Probably why I'm so, congested and everything, because my allergies are kind of acting up a little bit. That's all right. That's fine. I spent a lot of time outside, and it was just absolutely glorious this week. It's all going to come to an end. People, it's still February. It's not even the middle of February yet. We're about to get tanked, I guarantee you. The East Coast is bracing for a snowstorm right now. So you've heard me say it over and over again. Prepare. Put your blankets and a little bit of food and some bottles of water in your car that aren't going to blow up if it freezes and then thaws again. Wrap them up in something. That way, if you do get stuck, get some heaters or something like that in there. Some kind of a heat source so you can thaw the water back out. Maybe make you some hot tea or hot coffee or something. Get ready. Now, here's the thing. This is interesting, and we'll depart with this story. NOAA weather. The National Oceanic Administration, they're out there doing their thing, NOAA thing. They have issued a La Nina watch, indicating a potential switch in the middle of winter from El Nino to La Nina. Now, this El Nino pattern has given us a milder, drier, typical winter. But if this thing switches all of a sudden to La Nina, we could have one heck of a rest of the winter into spring. Especially up in this area, it could get wetter. We could have a lot more snow. It could get hotter in the south. It could get a little screwier on the East Coast. But it could put the screws to quite a bit of the weather pattern. And we could end up having a very interesting spring. Maybe with a lot of tornadoes and a lot of very wet weather. So they just upgraded this in the past 48 hours. It's kind of interesting. So get ready. The weather's going to change. The weather patterns are going to change. We're going to go from not having a whole lot of precipitation to possibly having a whole lot of precipitation up here in the Michigan area, in the northwest area. Down in the Texas, Florida, all that, it could be warmer and a lot drier, more what it usually is. But it's going to be probably the reverse of what we've been seeing. You're on notice. I've told you. It could get screwy. All right. And with that, I'm not going to go into preaching about what you should have in your car. I'm not going to go about preaching on how you should act or what you should do. We'll get back into that later on. And, we're about due for a spring, hey, look at your bug-out bag and figure out what you're going to do. My bug-out bag is changing dramatically, and I have been actually working with 30-pound vest, like a weight-filled vest, and walking with that to train myself into actually being able to carry my bug-out bag with all of its gear as far as I can go. And I'll let you know on that. It's tough. It's cool. I like it. It really is a workout. But it's something that I've been getting into, and I'll share with you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on Sunday Night with Alan Ray. Thank you for, all you guys in there in the chat room who decided you really don't want to hang out with the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers and Taylor Swift. Thank you for joining me. Keep it locked on KLRN Radio all week long. We got the best podcasts in the universe. There's no power in the verse that can stop us. And Lord willing, and hopefully, I will see you next Sunday night. Same bat time, same bat place. God bless. We'll talk again soon.
If you want cool, yes, if you want